What's up, guys? NFL Week 2, the Go Get 'Em pregame show breaks it down for you guys. I'm your host, Adam Danis from GoGetEmSports and PickCity.com with my man, Shane Williamson, the
Yeah,
legend
that's
of
me.
fantasy football.
That's me.
What's up?
Yeah, I'm fucked in fantasy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Pittman's out, so I can't do anything.
Pittman's out. Yeah, that line. We'll talk about that in a minute. That line is fishy. Let's
Is
hop right
it?
into it. Yeah, it is, yeah. We'll get into that later. Carolina Panthers take on your New York Giants to start off Week 2.
I don't want to talk about this game. It's
Giants
like last
coming to
week.
this game 2-point favorites at home. Total sitting at 43.5. 61% of the money coming in on the Giants at -2. 55% of the bets as well. 61% of the money and 60% of the bets on the over.
Everything says to take the Panthers in this game.
Everything.
Not just
Yeah.
that, but like the underdog in this matchup always performs well. Carolina in general plays well against the Giants, except for last year when it was Sam Darnold. But
Everything.
yeah, I have the Panthers winning this game. I think the
Um,
Giants peaked last week, beating what could be argued as a decent team, and now they're going to play the Panthers, who are pissed off after last week.
yeah, crazy. I just like, we talk about college football week 2 or week 1 or week 2. They have week 0. But week 1 or week 2, overreaction in the betting lines. This is one of them right here. It's perfect scenario for Vegas to
I
just
mean,
load
you
up.
could see these are like you could argue that the Giants could just be -3 because the teams are close, even, and the Giants are home.
I
So
know,
that's why
but
the line's like this. But I think the Panthers can walk them here.
the roster's even like it's not even close, dude.
The only
Quarterback,
way the Giants
quarterback,
win this.
hold on, quarterback, Carolina. Running back, Carolina. Wide receiver
Well,
depth,
okay, hold
Carolina.
on. Running back Carolina, if they actually utilize Christian McCaffrey, because last week
But who
they
would you rather
didn't really.
have?
I mean, I think any team
No,
would rather have Christian McCaffrey.
okay, I thought you said I'm stupid right there for a minute, but yeah.
No.
So just defense, I'd give it to Carolina.
The only way the Giants win this game is if they play if the Panthers run defense is the same like last week because they could not stop Nick Chubb,
Yeah, but
and now they're going against the leading rusher after week 1.
I
That's the
can
only
see,
24-17
I would say 24-20 maybe. The over just gets there.
Carolina.
But yeah,
DJ
I,
Moore
I
bounce back week.
I see Carolina all over it, and
I could
so
see
does
Baker
Vegas.
throwing 3 touchdowns this game easily.
Yeah, kind of. I wish it was a better game because all this, just the week 2 overreaction. But we'll get into. There's better games obviously for that scenario, but
And you have two of like the best running backs in the league, like skill wise, going
yeah,
against each other. But it's like they're both coming off of injuries. One like looks back into true form. The other one's getting eased in still, so it's hard to.
hmm yeah. I'd
Hard.
roll with Carolina Panthers plus money at plus 105 right now.
Yeah.
All right, probably one of probably the best, maybe the best game in the 1 o'clock window.
I think this is a sneaky shootout game.
Okay, Dolphins Ravens. Dolphins come in at 3.5-point dogs, heading to Baltimore. 61% of the money and 51% of the bets coming out of Baltimore, of course, at home. 61% of the money and 72% of the bets in the over. So the public is liking your scenario there of a shootout there, Shane.
Because well, the Ravens have some injuries. They lost Kyle Fuller for the whole year. Their other corners, Peters and Humphrey, are questionable. I think they should play, but still, both teams have weapons that can go down the field. Lamar himself's a weapon. You have Mark Andrews, who's the number 2 tight end in the league.
Yep.
The other side, you have Hill and Waddle, the fastest receiver duo in the league. Tyreek Hill's mossing people now and playing defense, trying to go up to the ball on people.
All right, I definitely see points here. The thing with again, overreaction week 2. Patriots move the ball pretty well if you watch the highlights of that game against the Dolphins. It was just finishing in the red zone, which they had trouble with.
Yes.
Obviously, new system, new coach, new coach calling plays. Obviously, you're going to see some of that in week 1. But this Ravens team didn't play a great game either against the Jets. They started off pretty slow, as
Yeah, in the
as
first
you were
half
saying,
it was slow. Then they started to get into a rhythm, and that
and they
was
started to
after they
pick it
shut
up.
down the run game. So
Yep.
this was all Lamar's arm that was going to work. Yeah, Duvernay caught 2 touchdowns over top. I don't start this preview. Do not start Devin Duvernay in fantasy because he had 2 touchdowns last week. He is you're chasing at that point. I just don't see anything with him.
Yeah. Um. I just don't see how the Dolphins can stop Lamar. They couldn't stop Mac Jones, obviously. I think Lamar just is obviously he's a better quarterback, but I think the Ravens have a better system to take over in the red zone better than what the Patriots did, obviously.
Yes.
So I like the Ravens here at home. I got to dive deeper into the numbers. 3.5 line kind of is, they're saying basically if it was in Miami, it's 6.5 or an even game. It'd be it'd be basically a pick 'em.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with that line. I think this should be close to a 6.5 point line in my opinion. But again, the public saw Dolphins win week 1, so they're gonna get
And
some
people
back.
are also going to go to the game last year that these two teams played, I believe, on Thursday night, where the Dolphins absolutely destroyed the Ravens. They blitzed Lamar like every single play, and it was like 17-9. So I think people might start to go, like, as we get closer to game time, we might see the line change, going more towards the line of the Dolphins.
Yeah, agreed. Then the total here sitting at 44.5. This is either going to be a 60-point shootout or it's going to be a 2017, last second field goal wins the game.
I
In my
would
opinion.
lean more shootout just because of the weapons that are on the field on both sides.
Yeah. So again, a great game. Probably not betting on it just because I'm on the side on both these teams early in the season, but great game to watch 2 young quarterbacks go at it. Next one, really good game as well. Buccaneers take on their rival,
Well,
Brady's
it's hard
rival.
to have any kind of analysis on this because we're doing this before like full injury reports come out. Brady might be throwing to Scotty Miller as his number 1.
Yeah.
And then Saints might not have Jameis Winston. So
Yeah. So
I think it's a close game regardless.
Buccaneers come in as 2.5 point favorites heading to New Orleans. They're getting 66% of the money and 74% of the bets on that line, and the total is sitting at 44, 61% of the money and 71% of the bets on the under. Not expecting Brady to do much in week 2 this week.
I mean, he's 0-4 against the Saints regular season as a Buccaneer. There's huge question marks on who he's actually throwing the ball to. Evans might not play. Godwin, I'm pretty sure, is already basically ruled out. Julio Jones questionable. Russell Gage questionable. Leonard Fournette's questionable. I think Leonard Fournette is like extremely likely to play, but I don't know if he gets as much production as last week because they ran the ball like over 50% of the time against the Cowboys because that's what was working. So I honestly, I don't have any stance on this game. This is a complete stay away.
Same. I can't bet against Brady, and I can't bet with Brady. 1, against New Orleans as a whole. 2, when they're in New Orleans, and the line's sitting at a 2.5 point line.
If you're gonna take one side, there's just more value with the Saints, but you should just not touch this.
Yeah, I agree. Next game. Patriots take on the Steelers.
Another mess of a game.
That
Jesus.
line sitting again at 2.5 for the Patriots coming into Pittsburgh as 2.5 point favorites. Total sitting at 40.5.
All right. There's a lot of numbers that go into this game because you have arguably the 2 best coaches or 2 of the top 5 coaches in the league going against each other early. So Bill Belichick, after a loss, is 59-33 ATS in his career, but 8-7 since Brady left. But however, he is 8-2 past 10 conference games. But then you flip the coin. Tomlin, after a loss, Actually, no, I think this is more so in home openers. 14-4-1 ATS, but they're 0-4-1 without TJ Watt.
But they won last week.
Oh, so then that's their home. That was their home thing that I was writing down. Their home opener is their 14-4-1.
Gotcha. So in their first home game, they're ATS or straight up?
ATS 14-4-1. So there's numbers that just
and that's usually that's every game, but I go with numbers that you feel more confident in. 6-7% of the money right now coming in on Pittsburgh, with 74% of the bets as well. 80% of the money and 61% of the bets in the under. So Vegas is going to need the over tomorrow.
I think this really comes down to how Mac Jones is health-wise, because he was getting like MRIs and stuff after he's having back problems after week 1. The Steelers allowed a hefty amount of yards to Joe Mixon. Like Joe Mixon finished as like a top 5 running back last week.
Yep.
Like fantasy-wise at least. But it's hard to pick a side in this. You got 2 good head coaches going against each other. One after a loss who was the greatest coach of all time, and the other one who has never had a losing season.
Yeah. I just Steelers, again, the overreaction of week 1. Steelers have no business coming into this game as 1-0.
They could not move the ball last week.
So they get 5 turnovers by Joe Burrow himself, and they have to win this game in
overtime.
Overtime after Cincinnati misses their kick.
McPherson missed like 2 kicks. He missed one in overtime and in regulation.
So they have no business coming in here as 1-0 dogs at +2.5. It makes absolutely no sense. I am not riding with the public here. I'm all over the Patriots.
Yeah, not a homer bet. I would side Patriots in this game.
Not homer bet. I think Najee's banged up. So is Mac Jones, though. But I think
this could be a Damian Harris game. Steelers' run defense isn't the greatest.
The problem is, though, I'm going to stay away from that total just because so much money is on the under right now. I think it's only going to come in more. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if this under gets down to 38 by game time.
Oh, that's fun. That's a good number.
So, lean the Patriots here going to Pittsburgh. Next game, Jets at the Browns. What a great game. Isn't it?
I don't get how the Jets are 6.5 point dogs in this game.
Yeah. So Jets open up at 7, dropped to 6.5, and now they're getting 62% of the money and 68% of the bets on Cleveland at 6.5. And then the total sitting at 39, 67% of the money and 53% of the bets on the under of the 39.
I think the Jets just match up well against the Browns. The Browns can't really pass the ball. Yep. The Jets are good at defending the run. They showed it last week. So if they shut down Nick Chubb, I don't see any way that the Browns could even have a chance at this game. And Joe Flacco is always due for like one game if he's starting, where he's going to throw for like close to 300 yards and like 2 touchdowns, no picks. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of when it happens. The Browns' defense is good, but I mean, Joe Flacco also has history playing against the Browns. He was he was with the Ravens for a long period of time. So if I'm going aside here, I'm taking the Jets.
Yeah, I don't mind Jets at if you buy it up to 7 by a point plus 7.5. Again, you're rolling against the public. Browns, Brissett. There's really no scare factor there for me. If you're taking there's no way in hell I'm taking Browns at a 6.5 point favorite.
Here's another. Here's a big statistic right here. Browns are 3-19-1 in home opener since 1999, straight up.
That is disgusting.
And 2 of their 3 wins have been the last 2 seasons when they had Baker. So without Baker, they were 1-19-1 in home openers.
That is disgusting. That's gross.
And I can't see Jacoby Brissett being 2-0. Can't.
No. So yeah, I'd lay the point, take the points. I'd even buy it up to 7.5, and I'd sprinkle a little bit on that plus 220 tomorrow afternoon. Next game. Just got some breaking news on this one. Colts at the Jags coming in as 3-point favorites against Jacksonville.
Who is Matt Ryan
Woo!
going to throw the ball to?
Don't know, but people are betting on him. 65% of the money and 70% of the bets coming on Indy. That's only going to go up as people start realizing what this line is. 88. So here's some crazy line sharp play for you. As of now, 88% of the money's on the over, but 63% of the bets are on the under. So you're seeing some heavy sharp money on the over here. In the Colts.
I would feel more confident in that if Michael Pittman was playing.
Exactly.
Ashton Doolin's the number one receiver for Matt Ryan.
Total sitting at 45.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if this goes over. This could easily be
only way it goes over is if Jacksonville wins the game.
I could see like a 27-24 game. The Colts defense, I think, is. I mean, they're still without a bunch of key players on their defense, and the Jaguars were able to somewhat move the ball against the Commanders, at least in the second half. First half, that game was super low scoring. But the Jaguars have won like the past 7 in Jacksonville against the Colts. But then on the other side, Matt Ryan in his career is 4-0 against the Jaguars.
There is a revenge factor, which I like with the Colts, but the Michael Pittman injury does not help that scenario. No, you can get Colts -1 at $1.55 right now. So,
like, you got to think, if you're Jacksonville, you're just stacking the box on Jonathan Taylor, and then you're leaving Paris Campbell, who can't stay healthy to save his life, and Ashton Doolin as his main weapon.
Big time Doolin.
I like Jaguars.
I lean the +3 home dog here. Unfortunately, I think the Colts start. I'm calling the upset. Jacksonville +145.
Yeah, I like Jacksonville.
Love it. Then watch the Colts just embarrass them. But
I mean, they could barely hang with the Texans.
Yeah.
I think the Jaguars are better than the Texans right now.
Jaguars had that game in the bag last week too. A couple turnovers hurt them, but
they let old person went swinging on them.
Jaguars +3.5, +3, tease it up to 10, and then sprinkle that money line at +145. I like that a lot, actually. Next game, Commanders take on the Lions. Commanders coming in as 1.5-point dogs heading into Detroit. And this game might be one of the most heavily bet games coming to this Sunday. 71% of the money and 63% of the bets come on Detroit as home favorites. And 86% of the money and 56% of the bets on the over.
All right, so this is a conflict right now of this game. Like, everybody, I think, in their hearts wants Detroit to win this game. I think Detroit is one of like the fan favorite teams in the league. Everybody's riding behind Dan Campbell and the Dogs. I just think having Detroit be favorites in this game.
Absolutely.
I mean, the Washington Commanders offense looked pretty good last week. Carson Wentz was able to sling the ball. Yeah, Carson Wentz is going to throw picks. That's what he's going to do. But he's not afraid to throw the ball and throw it deep. We saw him hit deep shots to a bunch of players. He had like 4 passing touchdowns. And the Lions aren't afraid to let up points because they allowed 38 to the Eagles last week and only got a bunch of their points in garbage time.
Yeah. I mean, history says bet on Detroit here. They win about 67% of the time since 2016 as home favorites. But past 2 years, they've only been home favorites 2 times, and they've split those games.
Heart says Lions, head says Commanders.
Yeah. I can't even say better quarterback do that anymore.
I mean, this is the battle of the 2016 first 2 picks.
Yeah.
They're both on different teams, but like, I don't know if like having this much confidence in this Lions team as a home favorite, like for the public, is that it just seems wrong.
Yeah. It's a lot. So again, I'm no way in hell I'm putting my money on this game because again, same with you. I want Lions to win this game, but and then do you think the Commanders start out 2-0?
I mean,
That's
they
just
played the
weird.
Jaguars and the Lions. It's not like they're
I
playing hard
know.
competition.
It's just a weird scenario. Laying off that game. One look at that game I might take is the over, though.
Yeah, no, I see points all over this
Yeah.
game.
And the sharp money is coming in heavy on that over. I think it's going to be even more sharp later on, but 48.5. I could see Washington put up 4 touchdowns on the defense.
34-31.
Woo! Wow, 65-point game, Shane.
I think
Damn.
neither of these teams can really play defense.
No,
Like
they
everybody
can't.
wants to tout about this Commanders defense. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're still without Chase Young. They don't really have
Yeah,
anybody
he's
like
on IR,
crazy in
so.
their secondary.
Yeah, and DeAndre Swift, they got the weapon DeAndre who can.
They have
burst out
DeAndre
for a run
Swift,
at any
Amon
time.
Ra, TJ Hawkinson. They brought in DJ Chark in the offseason.
Yeah, and I'm not afraid of Washington's front seven right now without Chase Young. So it means Jonathan Allen and everybody else really.
No, and Jonathan
Yeah.
Allen's questionable for tomorrow. So that just even hurts
over.
even more.
I like the over there. All right, next. Falcons taking on the LA Rams. This is a prime example of week 1 overreaction. Falcons come in at plus 10, getting 60% of the money and 55% of the bets on the Falcons in LA. 85% of the money and 53% of the bets on the under as well at 46.5.
I mean, you can't go in this week, like, even though they played the Bills, you can't be like, oh, man, the Rams are just going to trounce them. But, I mean, I think it's a fair bet that they're going to trounce them.
Rams by 21.
What is Sean McVay after a loss?
I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
Because that's got to be something.
Sean McVay after a loss straight up. 20-17. Not that great.
Oh, but what's his
last 2 years after a loss, he's 8-3 straight up.
I mean, I don't think the argument is they win or lose.
Covering,
I think covering. That's the thing, because that's a 10-point.
So with Sean McVay after a loss, ATS, they're 18-17-2. Not great.
I mean, maybe they're
but
on
that's
something
with
with
Jared Goff too. Last 2 years,
last
7-4 ATS after loss, and last year they were 3-2 ATS after loss. So not great numbers.
This is also like a different Rams team than last year, and so Cooper Kupp, what he gets his success on is breaking down zone coverage, which is what the Bills ran last week. That's why he went off, and Allen Robinson's better against man. That's why he didn't really do much. Falcons love running man coverage. This is where all the Allen Robinson doubters are going to get proved wrong this weekend. Allen Robinson's going to be utilized. He's going to dust off whoever their number 2 corner is, because I'm assuming A.J. Terrell's going to be on Kupp while he can.
He'll try to be.
They're going to. I feel like they can establish the run against the Falcons. So Darrell Henderson, who seems to be the number 1 back there right now, I think gets involved early and often. This is a huge bounce back game that the Rams need. But the cover, 10 is a lot of points.
It is, but for me, I look at the first half here at 5. Up 7.5. I think that's very doable.
Yeah,
and I lean the under here.
Because I could see the Rams getting up a good bit, and then they just try to run the clock out. I don't think they're gonna try to force anything. I think they care more about just the win than trying to make a statement.
Yeah.
So they get up 14, 17 points.
They need a win here, and this is a perfect parlay piece. And the next game we'll get into is also a good parlay piece as well. For your week 2, but the Rams have to win this game. There's no way they don't.
Yes, I don't know about that spread.
Yeah. I'm not winning 10. But...
The Falcons looked decent on offense last week, but then they just came out and prevent defense in the second half, and then.
I know, but just overreaction week 1.
Yeah, I know.
Overreaction week 1.
I just can't. I can't touch the spread for this game.
Yeah,
can't.
All right, moving on. Next game. Seahawks, again, another overreaction game. Seahawks travel to San Fran as 9-point dogs. Over under sitting at 40 and a half. 67% of the money, 81% of the bets on Seattle +9.
All right, this is a common thing in sports. Emotional game, they get the win. Next week, completely underperform. They
Next
didn't
game
even
in the
they didn't even
plunder.
perform that well last week. They got outperformed by the Broncos. The Broncos just fumbled twice at the 1 yard line.
Correct. In Vegas, made a phone
So
call. Yeah.
yeah, and the coaching decision there at the end was. I mean, he at least they admitted to we should have went for it because you don't see coaches usually be like, oh, go back on what they the decision they made. Usually stand firm on it. Him being able to own up the fact already, saying that was the mistake, I think can be a good sign. Even though it's one of the worst decisions I've ever seen in my life. You don't pay a dude like 300,
No.
but the Niners played in a monsoon week 1. I think there's still a decent chance of rain in this game, but it might
There
just
is.
lead to overcast. I don't think it's not even going to be nearly as severe. It's like a half of inch of rain compared to the 4 that
Yeah.
was in
Yeah. You can't compare that game. Yeah.
the other game. People are already casting judgment on Trey Lance, saying that he should be benched. There's no way, in his first start in this new scheme, in that condition, you can already cast him off. I think
And
the Niners roll this game.
I think they roll. I might be late at 9 here. I think the Niners defense, puts Geno Smith back in his place. He comes back down to earth a little bit.
I don't think Geno Smith can have 2 good performances in a row.
No. I'm gonna lean the Niners here at -9. Definitely a parlay piece as well tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
At home, both these teams. Rams at home again. Niners at home. They're not losing those games. I don't think.
There's no
But
way the Seahawks are going to start 2-0. There's
no way.
and they lost Jamal Adams for the year now.
No. If you want to lay, if you want to just be stupid and lay, if you got 4 figures late in a game, Niners money line -435. Just lay it. I'm serious. Just lay it. And it might come back to haunt me if Niners somehow lose this game, and I'm getting texts on Twitter saying, "Oh my God, I just lost my mortgage on my house because listen to you." Whatever. But
I see this as 28-17 or something like that.
I like that score. I think 31-17 my prediction. Next, another interesting game with the injuries. Bengals at Cowboys. Bengals come in 7-point favorites into Dallas. Total sitting at a low 42. 85% of the money and 84% of the bets come on Cincinnati. And 53% of the money and 62% of the bets on the over. I cannot blame them. But as we've seen these first couple weeks in both leagues, college and NFL, Vegas don't lose those games.
I mean, the only thing I have with this game is that since 2020, when Joe Burrow became the quarterback for the Bengals are 12-5 ATS after a loss.
It's a nice stat.
I don't think Joe Burrow turns the ball over 5 times. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, expect that.
I don't know who Cooper Rush is what he's gonna do on offense. Depleted offensive line. They're gonna stack the box against Zeke. Zeke's gonna be a non-factor. They have the corners to deal with CeeDee Lamb and safety help to deal with Dalton Schultz and stuff. Yeah. I don't see them doing it. I think this is another bounce back game. The Bengals off of a terrible loss last week. This seems pure Bengals.
For me, I'm laying the points with Dallas. Or
with Dallas. You're taking it with Cooper Rush?
I am.
Just got activated off the practice squad today.
That is correct. That Bengals game scared the hell out of me. And it's Joe. I don't know what I watched with those throws, but a couple of stats and trends for you. Dallas last 10 years as home dogs, 12-9-2 against the spread. As a home dog. Last 10 years after a loss, not as good. 35-37-2 ATS. I'm gonna guess most of those games they're favored. Margin of victory sitting at +3, so they're winning those games by an average of 3 points. So they're usually favorites in those games, not usually dogs. Dallas last 10 years, going back to 2011, 39, 29, and 2 ATS as dogs, losing those games by an average of 3.5 points. I know it's Cooper Rush. I know it's Joe Burrow. I know it's a 7-point line. Give me the 7.5. I'll take it. Give me
the only problem, this Cowboys team is completely different.
Oh, it's terrible.
And their offensive line is in shambles now. This is not.
The whole team is in shambles, dude.
I mean, they have the defense. It's just a matter of can they. I mean, they were able to play bend don't break on Brady last week.
Yeah, but Brady always struggles a little bit. Someone's surprised, but I'll take the points here in this matchup. Like just too much money right now in the Bengals. 85%, 84% of the bets, 85% of the money. Everybody in their step cousin is betting the Bengals to cover the 7. So
seems like another big Joe Mixon game this week. Cowboys couldn't stop the run last week against Leonard Fournette. Joe Mixon, who I think is better, with a better offensive line, or supposedly a better offensive line. They allowed 7 sacks last week, but
I'm gonna say 24-17 Bengals.
I mean, we better hope the Cowboys score this week. They're the only team without a touchdown.
Yeah, I think they score.
Hopefully,
total right at 41. So you're on the Bengals. I'm on the Cowboys here, taking 7. So next game, Texans Broncos, bounce back game for Mr. Wilson. Denver home favorites to coming at -10. Texans getting 10 on the road at Denver. Total sitting at 45. 50-50 money-wise right now, which is kind of surprising for me.
Give me...
Oh, boy, here we go.
The Texans in this game. I don't... Russell Wilson isn't the guy that he was a few years ago. I think everybody can admit that. He's still good, don't get me wrong.
Overreaction in week 1. Shane.
That's not... you can't just say that every team's going to stomp people out after they lose.
No, I'm not saying stomp them out.
Texans are a team that have even did it last year against these good teams. They keep it close.
I don't know. I'm not laying 10 here with Denver because I'm not a huge Russell guy myself. But again, week 1 overreaction. It's just I don't know. This game should be.
I don't think Russell Wilson is as good as he was the past couple seasons. I don't think anybody can really disagree with me on that. What really made him elite was his ability to get out the pocket and use his legs. He's not really that guy anymore.
No, and the problem is now he's getting older and he doesn't have that, he was never fast, but he was athletic and versatile, but he doesn't have that as much anymore. He's getting older. He's been hit a lot in his career. So now what's happening is he's holding onto the ball way too long.
Yeah.
And he's getting sacked. And he's making throws that he shouldn't be making because he's afraid of getting sacked now. So the problem is Houston have those guys up front to get pressure on him.
I mean, they got Jerry Hughes, I guess, that can maybe do something. The Broncos' offensive line isn't great.
No, it's not great, but
it's an improvement to what Seattle had, but it's not
Seattle never had a good line with him, but I don't think Houston has the pressure to get to Russell. I think Russell has a great game this week. I'm not saying they win by 10. I'm not saying lay the points, but I think he has a good game.
I think that they try to get because Russell Wilson always looks to run the ball first. They're always looking to run the ball first. This is just going to be so. I see a lot of clock getting drained this game. Maybe on both sides. Maybe Damian Pierce actually gets involved and not Rex Burkhead getting 70% of the snaps. But this game is probably going to be low scoring, in my opinion. I would lean under. I could see
I see 24-14.
I was going to say 23-17, something like that, around those lines. But I can see the Texans easily keeping this close. Yeah, I don't think they win. But
no, I think Seattle. I mean, Denver is a good. I keep saying another great parlay piece this week. Home, off a loss. Russell's got to prove himself to win these games, and I think he does it this week as well. So, next, I think it's gonna be an interesting game.
Oh, shootout! Oh my God!
Cardinals, Raiders.
70
Raiders. Can you let me speak, please? Cardinals coming in at +5 to Las Vegas. Raiders getting 57% of the money and 55% of the bets on Arizona. So it's split. 74% of the money and 60% of the bets on the over in this one. Not surprising. Total is, I think it's kind of low at 51.5.
Yeah,
I
I
think
would
this game
hammer
should
that.
be 55, 56 in my
Oh my
opinion.
god. So Devontae Adams far and away led the league in air yards last week, and if Derek Carr wasn't throwing ducks out there, I think the Raiders win that game week 1. Derek Carr turned the ball over, I think, like 3-4 times,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what cost him. The Chargers were giving him that game. Cardinals don't look like they have any form of defense. Yeah, they played the Chiefs, but they have no pass rush. They're going to be without J.J. Watt. They lost Chandler Jones, who's on the Raiders. You don't think he's going to want to go at Kyler Murray this week, him and Crosby? You have two elite pass rushers going at him. You can argue both secondaries are non-existent. I mean, yeah, they have Buda Baker on the Cardinals, but like,
Yeah, but
he's not.
He's like, again, he's not the guy who's going to be making picks and making.
No, he's kind of more like an in the box guy. He's kind of like a Jamal Adams. So he's not. They're not going to put him on Devontae.
The problem is though, the Cardinals have 2 of those guys, and no secondary.
Yeah, Devontae Adams,
Buda Baker, and Simmons, right?
Isaiah Simmons, yeah.
They're both secondary guys, but they both play in the box. Though that's not going to work this year. They got to get one of those guys on the outside or
Devontae Adams is going to have Byron Murphy on him, who's like 6 inches shorter. I like the Raiders in this game with the points. I think the Cardinals. I think Cliff Kingsbury's on one of those coaches on the mega hot seat this year. I think he's done after this year.
Oof,
maybe
back to college he goes.
Maybe even halfway through this year. Who knows? If the Cardinals start off that bad, then he might.
Oh, I can see that for sure. Yep.
But I could see the same thing happening with like a Mike McCarthy.
Oh, dude, Sean Payton.
Yeah.
It's a dead man walking for Mr.
McCarthy.
Mr. McCarthy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's not even really the head coach. I think he's just kind of like a face. He's there.
Yeah, obviously. He's there. He's there to be there.
Jerry Jones is the head coach. Let's be honest right now. But the Cardinals are without Rondale Moore again. So Dortch and Hollywood Brown are your options.
Awful.
I see a lot of points, but I don't see the Raiders starting 0-2. If one of these teams starts 0-2, I'm looking at the Cardinals.
I see an absolute blowout.
I could see like 35.
I see 35-17.
35-17. I could see the Cardinals scoring a little bit more. The Raiders don't have a secondary either.
I know, but the Cardinals' offense just non-existent.
If Kyler Murray can just get out of the pocket and find Hollywood Brown, it's like no one's catching him.
Yeah.
35-27.
Closer than I thought. Yeah, I think it's more of a blowout than that. But next, the annual Aaron Rodgers game.
All right, so let's just
Packers.
Hammer the Packers. This is all we got to talk about here.
Bears. So this game is a little weird. Bears plus 9.5 as of now. They were 10.5 in some books. Then they've dropped because 74% of the bets coming at Chicago, but sharp money, 77% of the money is on Green Bay, landing the 9.5. I'm on Green Bay.
Yeah, LaFleur is 9-0 straight up in ATS after a loss. That's all we're getting at here. The Packers, I feel like, are always like Brady. They always just start off bad week 1. And Aaron Rodgers, a home opener at Lambeau against the team that he owns in the Bears. I could see Justin Fields having 150 passing yards this game.
I think it's a blowout, 40-10.
Okay, I don't know if they score 40. Let's be real.
I wouldn't be surprised. Aaron Rodgers,
Let's go.
Or maybe not 40. Let's go 28-10.
I was gonna say like 31-7.
Oh, 7. That's it.
Who's scoring for the Bears?
Hey, still an NFL squad,
They don't care. Do not care.
61% of the money and 55% of the bets in the under. So not huge line, sway for Vegas there. Yeah, I think just Simple answer here. It's Green Bay. Period.
Aaron Rodgers is fucking fuming. He's gonna start lacing it down the field.
Yep.
If Christian Watson doesn't drop that one pass, then we're not even overreacting to the Packers.
This is a 13.5-point line if he catches that ball.
Yep.
So.
And I'm still
all right.
him.
That's it for Sunday. Let's head into the Monday Night Football games. You got 2 this week. Tennessee Titans taking on the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Tennessee comes in as, I already see Shane smiling, 9.5-point dogs here. Tennessee getting 80% of the money. Buffalo getting 80% of the money on the 9.5 and 67% of the bets. 63% of the money on the under, but 57% of the bets on the over. Shane, you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Titans. I had the Titans straight up winning this game.
Whoa! Titans plus 360 for Shane.
Titans have had the Bills number the past couple of years. The Bills don't have a great run defense. Derrick Henry will. I don't care. Derrick Henry doesn't care if you put all 11 people in the box. He will still get like 6 yards a carry.
People, all I gotta say, prime time. Never go with the public. I am begging you to stop betting these teams. You've already seen it. Opening night. Well, opening night was kind of weird because some of the public had the Rams, and then it switched. Game 50-50 before the game started. But Bills won. Monday Night Football.
Everybody's on the Broncos.
Everybody and their step cousin is on the Broncos minus 6.5 or tease down to 0. What happens? Seattle Seahawks win. Cover. Straight up win. Thursday night. Chiefs minus 4. Like 80% of the public on Chiefs minus 4. And I'm sitting there laughing. I went to bed. And I told people what the score was going to be when it was over. And I called the exact score. 27-24. Chargers plus 4, cash. Chiefs straight up cash. So the big guys who bet Chiefs money line win, and the big guys who bet Chargers plus 4 wins. And everybody else, the public, who bet minus 4 Chiefs, because you got to bet the Chiefs, right, at home, lose. And that's why Vegas is in business. They cover themselves with the public, pay out the big guys, and they move on to the next time.
Yes.
So Titans.
I don't think the Titans are as bad. They lost last week, but they lost to missing like a 47-yard field goal. Yeah, I don't think the Titans are as bad as people think.
No, I'm not a huge Titan fan this year. I think their defense is very suspect, especially in secondary.
I mean, if the Colts keep performing the way they do, then the Titans have this division.
That division's awful. But yeah, I think this is a close game. I don't know about Titans straight up, but 10.5. Give me that. I'll take that all day. So we'll have more on that later this week. But Titans all day. My favorite game of the week.
Oh, there's points in this game. Holy crap.
Vikings, Eagles coming in. Eagles at home, Monday Night Football. 2.5-point favorites. Let's see. 79% of the money's on Philly, but 70% of the bets are on Minnesota. So a huge sharp money line there for the Eagles. Over sitting at 50.5, 85% of the money and 74% of the bets in the over.
All right, this is primetime Kirk Cousins right here. Let's talk about it.
I
think he's 2-9 in his career in primetime.
Eagles.
I'm liking I like the Eagles game. I think AJ Brown and Justin Jefferson combined for like 350 receiving yards.
Eagles.
I think the Eagles win, but I think the Vikings have more facets for how to win the game.
Eagles.
I know the Eagles are your team. So you're gonna keep
my favorite besides the Patriots. Obviously, Eagles are my team, dude. I love that team.
I don't know if they have long term. I don't know if Jalen Hurts is gonna be able to go through a season performing well. It's yet to be seen.
He's still it's third year, dude. He's still growing.
Yeah, but he doesn't really have an arm. That's the problem.
It's okay. We'll get through it.
Oh, okay.
I like the alternate line here at minus 6.5. That's how confident I am in this Eagles team this week.
Okay,
minus 6.5. You can get them at plus 178. Bet that shit. -6.5 by a touchdown. All
I
right.
don't know about that.
Shane, it's your turn. You have the mic.
All right, fantasy football. I'm already crying because I'm going to be 0-2 in our league. So for who to play, I went a little off the rails here for a couple of these. People are thinking about benching Jalen Waddle this week. I don't get why. He catches the ball like 7-8 times a game, and if you're in PPR, that's just money. Don't even think about it. Cordell Patterson with Damian Harris getting hurt, or not Damian Harris, Damian Williams getting hurt in that backfield. This is the Cordell Patterson show. He rushed the ball 22 times last week. I don't think we see that, but I think we see more production in the passing game, which is what you're looking for out of a running back. And especially if they're down, they could see to use him often. Brian Edwards, who they traded for, non-factor. Kyle Pitts, not even there half the time. Brian Edwards, who they traded for, had one target last week and no yards. So I love Cordell Patterson. Matthew Stafford in the same game. I don't see him throwing even though he loves throwing picks. I don't see 3 picks against his Falcons defense. He's going to look for Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson the entire game. Maybe Higbee, but big bounce back spot for Stafford. The questions of Albert O. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. Tight end for Denver. If he could see a bulk of the load at tight end, was answered. He's gonna be out there a lot. So if you're kind of weak at tight end, like if you don't have one of the top couple guys, great pickup. And my sleeper kicker, I love going for rookie kickers. If you don't have like a Bucker's hurt, but if you don't have a Tucker or a Bass or a McPherson, go pick up Cade York, dude. He's a missile. And then we go to the don't play players. Don't chase people who had these big games in week 1. Devin Duvernay and OJ Howard. You could pick them up, but don't just plug and play them immediately. OJ Howard only had 2 catches last week, and they were both for touchdowns. You just can't keep up that production throughout the year. So I need to see more from OJ Howard if we're gonna eventually start him, but I'm not gonna risk doing that right now. Devin Duvernay, he caught 2 touchdowns. I'm definitely not seeing that going to continue. Matt Ryan, bench him. He's got nobody to throw to. This is going to be a Jonathan Taylor game if they win. Ezekiel Elliott is going on your bench. He's got a backup quarterback. I don't see Dallas being in a position where they can run the ball a lot. There's going to be a lot of passing situations, which may mean more Tony Pollard. So Zeke, I don't feel that confident in. And then Robbie Anderson, he had the big touchdown last week. He can go over top, and he's just a definition of a boomer bust player. He can get you 18 points on 4 catches and have a touchdown, but it'll go the next week and have 1 catch for 3 yards. I need to see who Baker Mayfield has that pure connection with. I think DJ Moore is in a huge bounce back week this week, and Robbie Anderson is going to see a decrease in the ticket production that he had last week. So those are my big plays and sits for this week.
Awesome job, my brother. All right, that'll do it for this week of week 2 GoGetEmSports pregame show. We're going to get you back right here next week, Sunday or Saturday, whatever it goes. You'll see it. All right, guys. Peace out. Good luck on your bets. Bet responsibly. Go Panthers.
Absolutely.